it'll work perfectly. So the first question I'm going to ask you guys about, the news broke just the other day, Season 5, congratulations. How does that feel? I mean, Fringe is a show that definitely has its dedicated following, but everyone knows it's kind of been one that every year, like, oh, I hope we get another season, I hope we get another season. So now you've got this 5th and final season. That's going to be a rewarding feeling right there.
See, I do take care of them in real life.
Fringe has always had a really hardcore following, and it still has, because of DVR and other ways of accessing the show. It's not reflected in the figures, but fortunately the network is our properties, and they really don't want to burn out a whole people like they did on Firefly. They realise that how strong the fan base is, and I think that made a really brave move to this 13 to come over, because we can now finish the story, and that's so rare. Do you think?
I do.
She does.
Just another reminder, there's runners for the questions, but I got a couple more, but you can put your hands up and they'll come to you if you have questions on the floor. The show does have this passionate, dedicated following, despite all of the changes that we've experienced over the seasons, which we all enjoy. But what do you think is the special appeal of Fringe? Why does it resonate? Why does it, you know what word I'm going for.
I knew the word you meant.
Yes. Resonate. Yes.
I think one of the special things about our show is that every season it's almost like a completely different show. We've been to different timelines, we've been to different universes. John has played 11 different versions of Walter throughout the past 4 seasons. Who knows how many more in the next season? So I think that it keeps people on their toes and they don't know exactly what they're going to expect. We've been successful at surprising people every single season, which I think is pretty hard to do.
Do you guys get surprised when you get the scripts yourselves, or do you have an inkling of theories as to what's going to happen next, and you get the script and you're like, oh man, this is nowhere where I thought it was going to go?
Yes to both of those. Sometimes when people know there's an arc going on, but I must admit at the beginning of season 4, I didn't know what was happening. Right. I seriously didn't know.
I think anyone did.
And I contacted the writers and said, I'm sorry, I don't understand this. And then they would try to explain it to me, and I'd try to be intelligent and go, oh. And I'd go, I don't understand this. But eventually, these writers are brilliant. They seriously are, and they take this huge risk every year to reset. When everyone says, no, don't change it, keep it as it is. Well, the fact that they do that is the reason we're still here. It's good storytelling. They keep resetting as they will in season 5. But sometimes it takes us a while to catch up with it. And we're all saying, listen, the script's really late. So we go, oh my God, what happened there? Did you see what you did in that episode? You get to play your doppelganger. I said, oh no. And you're nude in the next one.
Well, let's talk about that amazing episode from this past season, Making Angels. That was a great episode for it, Astrid. What was that like? So tell us about the process of that. When did you know? What were your reactions? How complicated is it to shoot like that?
Well, I was super excited, obviously, because I kind of been waiting for a while to get, an episode. And Snakehead, which was in, I think, season 3, that was a really great and fun episode. But it kind of dropped off after that. It was like one episode that had some really great scenes in it, and that was the end of it. And so I was really anticipating, but I kind of had low expectations because I'm a supporting character, and I'm there to support, the big story, the love story and the familial story. And the show isn't about Astrid. She's a part of the show, but it's not about her. So, I was okay with it. I was kind of resigned. And then I get word, and John, he really does come up to me and he's like, so, you've got to meet with your doppelganger. And I was like, really? What happens? And he said, oh, it's going to be great. And so I got the script, and I must have cried like 5 times through the script. It took me so long to read because I was like, yes. And it was on a lot of different two Astrids, but also for me as an actress who had been waiting for a while and hoping for an opportunity like this. So it was just really great. And the actual process of filming that episode was really hard. And it made me kind of appreciate the fact that I don't have those episodes every week. Because it's exhausting. You know, the scenes take twice as long because obviously you're filming from one side and then the other side, and you're doing green screens and you're having to match, you know, the emotional level that you were at when you filmed it like 3 hours ago. And then for those crime scenes in particular, oh my God. But everybody in the cast was so supportive. I cannot tell you enough. Everybody was so quiet and really respectful of, you know, going through that kind of emotional thing for scene after scene after scene, take after take. So it was everything I hoped that it would be.
And it's a sign of the esteem with which we hold Jasika. We've done 88 episodes, and I've never seen the company as supportive as it was that day, or those that week and a half.
Well, no doubt we're going to get some questions from the floor in just a second. I wanted to ask you, John, being a part of the Lord of the Rings, everyone's eagerly anticipating The Hobbit. What do you think we're going to get from The Hobbit? Is Peter Jackson going to deliver again? This is an opportunity to basically say he's awesome, I think.
Peter will deliver. He's awesome.
Yeah, great. Well, what was it like then? This is a better question. I'm a little nervous, big fan. Better question, working on Lord of the Rings, what is it like when you're in these sets? Obviously, you know, the most massive movies, some of the most massive movies that have ever been made. What was it like being on those sets and working in that condition?
I do think it's possibly the greatest movie trilogy ever made. The fact that it was locked away, the fact that it came out of the work of Tolkien, which was great literature to start with, that Jackson had a vision that sometimes happens once in a lifetime. We get these perfect moments. He assembled a team from all over the world and invested all of us with that same thing. So every person of the thousands working with that, I think, worked above their best. Now, how that happens, I don't know. Would you call that a purple patch or something? You know, when everybody just goes a step further. And I know that the actors used to talk about that sometimes. Like, this is amazing. I'm going to. You almost couldn't let the team down, and that went through all levels. It was an inspired, stuck way down the bottom of New Zealand so there were no distractions, seriously. And I don't know that such experience would be repeated. I wouldn't be involved in The Hobbit because my character wasn't, but in theory I wouldn't want to. I don't think I could ever replace that experience in my lifetime. It was unique, and I think just about everyone involved would agree with that. Thank you.
We all enjoyed it, no doubt. And we got mic 3 on the floor, right there with Josh. Hey, Josh.
So my question's for Jasika. Huge fan of the show. Astrid strikes me as almost too perfect. She's sweet and helpful and brilliant, and is just in the exact right position to perhaps be a double agent. That thought occurred to you?
That definitely occurred to me in the first 2 seasons when she wasn't doing a whole lot to move the show forward, and she was great, and she was also so forgiving, you know, when these awful things would happen to her. And so I had the same thought, and I don't have that thought anymore. I think she's too enmeshed with everyone. I think that would be a really great idea if she was a mole, but Royals ended up being the bad guy in the alternate universe, so I don't think that there's room for Astrid to be too, but I think it's a good idea.
Thanks for the question, Josh.
Thank you.
We're going to mic 6, which is on our right with, it's up in the bleachers. Carolyn is somewhere up there.
Hello, over here. Here, left.
All right, there we go.
Hi. You guys do such a wonderful job just playing the same character but different for the different dimensions and realities. So I'm wondering what that's like as an actor, how you find it needing to play the same character but completely different. You both do it beautifully, but how do you do it? How do you find it? How do you work through it?
Good question.
Oh, it's a great question. It's also one of the things that keeps us happy on the show, because normally, if you get into something that runs a long time, you run the risk of getting stale. You know, you're continually trying to reinvent and stay in the moment. And I think Jasika was just referring to that in the first 2 seasons, just holding on, waiting for something to happen. For Astrid, what we found is that it'll keep us very fresh because we're constantly inventing. And for example, when old Astrid came out of the woodwork, who was a genius creation of this one, that autistic girl, I mean, what an extraordinary gift to give an actor to allow someone to take that trip. And Olivia, goodness me, you know, same girl, exactly the same girl, but such a different interpretation. And so it went. So we were, and I don't know that this happens ever to anyone. So we were so lucky to have that happen. And it keeps us fresh and we pick up on it because I'm running out of steam.
I was just going to say, I think that Astrid, or that I have probably the easiest role playing the 2 Astrids because they're so fundamentally different. But the way that, in particular, John and Anna have been able to find these subtleties, you know, when they seem like generally the same kind of person, but when you see them on screen, they have completely different energies, and they had to come up with that completely by themselves. My lines are totally weird in between the 2 characters, so it's really easy to differentiate between the 2, but that's all I have to say. Thank you.
This is the Calgary Comic and Entertainment Expo, and you are a brilliant artist yourself, Jasika. So, do you feel at home here, and are there any other comics and artists that you're particularly fond of that might be here at the con, or are you looking out for art?
I don't feel at home here because there's so many professional artists who have been doing it for so long, and they're so good at storytelling. And I think mostly that I'm just super intimidated. And I don't really have the opportunity to go around and look at all this stuff because we're signed, but before when I've had the opportunity to look around, I just go at the table. I'm like a lurker. I just walk by the same tables and like, that's so good. And then I just go around to the different tables, like I don't talk to anybody. I just feel like I'm so out of my element, you know what I mean? Like I just do my stuff on my part-time, but these people here are just incredible. So it's really nice to be around this energy,
Right.
but I am not in that league.
Well, I would debate that. You can visit our website. It's jasikanicole.com. It's really impressive stuff.
Thank you so much.
We got another question on the floor, mic 4, and it's right here on the stage. Tyler is hanging out.
Mr. Noble, when you first got approached with Fringe, how did you develop the character of Walter Bishop? What kind of stuff did you draw upon?
You warned me about that, didn't you?
I did.
Okay. Yes, I did research it. It was very complex, so we'll start with that. I had to look at a couple of things. I had to look at what type of mental illness, if any, he had, but mainly what effects, literally to research what effects drugs have on you in the long term. I'm not going to go down that path. Not really. So I researched it like a proper professional would. And, but also, the effect of electric shock therapy and all these things. So I went through all that and said, okay, these are the sorts of effects that happen.